Hey, Mike, we got the interview in an hour. Just reaching out to you, making sure everything's all right. Trying to get a hold of Mike. While we're waiting for Delaware Mike for this interview, I want everyone to check out Outlaw Mud Show. Yeah, I can't get a hold of Mike. Well, we got to start at 6 o'clock. The show must go on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Justin Valencia.
Hold on.
Mike, I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. Where you been?
I was chicken hunting.
You chicken hunting?
Yeah, chicken
What
hunting.
do you mean chicken hunting?
I was chicken hunting for Joe. I caught 2 chickens.
You called chicken?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was chicken hunting. He's a juggler, right?
What the hell?
Yeah, I got 2 chickens. 2 of them, a small one and a big one. And I found a pair of underwear in the wood.
Get that away from me. Get that away from me.
You can never have enough underwear. Just wash it.
Get these
There's nothing wrong with them. They don't have holes in them.
Big Joe, I'm sorry. Let's do the proper introduction.
Okay.
I'm Justin Valencia from Valencia Society. My co-host, Mr. 302, Delaware Mike. And with us today, we have UK's craziest doorman. Big Joe, thank you for being with us today.
No problem, guys. Thank you for having me.
We just caught you. We just seen you at Tournament of Death a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you kind of look familiar.
Who, me?
You said you went to Tournament of Death, yeah?
Yeah, I was all over the place. I gave you some tape and a Gathering of the Jugglers program.
Ah, right. So you're not the guy that was helping Necro by passing him chairs and fucking throwing them at me. You're not that guy.
Oh no! I was sitting next to him the whole time.
Wait. No, you were out and about that match.
I went to the bathroom and came back. No,
you were bragging. You were bragging about giving the Necro Butcher chairs.
Stop it. No, he's kidding. He likes to.
No. Look, I got it.
You put that away. No, look, stop it. Now, let's get to this subject.
All right. Oh yeah,
he's coming to America next month.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, you got me mixed up with someone else, Joe. Don't worry about it.
Son of a bitch.
Okay. Well, we're gonna start out with the. Why don't you start out with the standard question?
Standard question.
Yeah, standard question.
What do you mean by the standard question?
All right, all that. Joe, when you were growing up and you were young, who was your favorite Spice Girl?
Oh God.
I like Baby Spice, Emma.
I always when I was a kid, I had a crush on Posh Spice for some reason. I don't know why. Like looking back, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Okay, well that was a standard question. Now we're gonna get to the business.
Awesome, brother. Joe, thanks again for joining us tonight. So, of course, the standard question: what was your first introduction into pro wrestling?
My first introduction was WCW Surfer Sting. His feud with Vader. That's probably my first introduction to wrestling. That used to be on ITV here in England, just after the A-Team. So it went A-Team, then WCW. So that was my first introduction to wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. Massive WCW mark. Massive.
Oh, awesome. We're actually sitting on some WCW chairs right now from, I don't know if you can see
Oh,
them.
sick. Yeah, I can see that.
We have a bunch of collections in here, like all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, you started off WCW. Did you order, who was your favorite wrestler back then?
Well, it was just Sting. Sting was like the man to me. It was Sting. Then when I found WWF, it was Ultimate Warrior. I was very much into the power and paint sort of gimmick. If they were jacked on steroids, did a load of sniff and had face paint and tassels, then I was all about it. So Sting and Warrior for me was good.
Oh yeah, the guys with the face paint, they were awesome.
Yeah, face paint and steroids.
Face paint and steroids. Good way to put it.
So then you started probably watching ECW, right? At the same time, about?
Probably a bit later on. My first memories of wrestling. So when I was about 5 was when I discovered WCW. I'd say I discovered ECW maybe when I was 10 or 11. Found that through Pro Wrestling Illustrated. In the magazine at the front they'd have Tommy Dreamer and the handcuffs, the ECW hotline.
Yeah.
Found that. And then I started tape trading here in England at the age of 12, getting the ECW tapes and stuff. So it was a slippery slope really from the Aftermags to ECW to Deathmatch.
Oh, okay. So who were you tape trading with? People in America, or was there an English circle of tape trading?
Yeah, there was people in England. There was people in America. mainly English people I would trade, because I would get like the local sort of internet name type wrestlers, like the indie names. I would record their matches in England, and then I'd end up tape trading them with guys for like ECW and shit like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And as a young kid, I think I read somewhere you got to see Sabu wrestle in the UK, correct?
Yeah, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. It was the first sort of internet savvy show in England. So you had Sabu, Rob Van Dam, and Mikey Whipwreck all came over. It's quite kind of a big show over here. They had like Ulf Herman as well, who was in ECW for a point. That was the first show I went to as a kid, so it was a pretty good show to go to, really.
Were those guys accessible? Could you go up to them and talk to them, or like here, or how were they?
It wasn't really like that back then. This wasn't a thing. I guess the wrestlers just went back to the hotels, and you didn't really have like the meet and greet sort of, because this was 98, so it wasn't really like do you know what I mean? Like that part of the business where people would make more money selling merch than they would wrestling. That wasn't really a thing back then. They would just wrestle, and then you'd never see them. So sad. Although RVD landed in my mum's lap, who was right next to me, which was pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, at the arena, they were accessible. You could buy. They were out in the parking lot drinking beer. You could just walk up to them. If you had a case of beer, they'd come and drink with you. Yeah. Things like that. It was very casual back in the ECW, behind the ECW arena.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been like that, but I was so young.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I just remember getting to the show super early, and there was a guy with like bootleg ECW cassettes. This was before the ECW music, the CD came out. Just like bootleg cassettes of like all the entrance themes and stuff, and it was pretty cool, like waiting in that line. But I'm pretty sure the wrestlers didn't come out and party and hang out like they do now.
Okay, good.
So, what made you want to become a pro wrestler?
It's just something I always wanted to do. It was either, as a kid, being a punk band or be a pro wrestler. It was never an option to do anything other than that. So probably, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just, I've never had any other thoughts.
Oh, you're a punk fan. I saw your Instagram. You have a lot of punk bands like Anti-Flag and people like that, huh?
Yeah. Big, like, I was like a fat emo kid, like emo, like pop punk, ska punk, a bit of metal, bit of rock. And it was just, being a punk band or be a fucking crazy pro wrestler. And what I didn't realize, I thought like in a band, you have other people that can let you down. But I didn't realize, obviously, it's not until you get into wrestling and you learn the inner workings that it's not really just up to you. It's a whole team effort. And,
right. Okay.
But here we are.
Yeah.
Talking wrestling. So we discussed a lot. You're a big. You were into CZW growing up. I believe I read somewhere that your first introduction to CZW was Power Slam magazine. Do you remember who was in the pictures?
I can't necessarily remember. It's probably Zandig, Mondo, Mady. I can't necessarily remember the pictures from that magazine that got me into CZW. But CZW was a big part of my early tape trading years, as a teenager, like 13, 14. It was a big part of my life. So to get to wrestle for them was a fucking mind trip.
That's amazing.
Wow.
What was the first show like you had? I know you definitely traded CZW tapes. What was the CZW you had in your possession?
The first tape I had was like a 5-hour like compilation. It had like the original Cage of Death, had Stretched in Smyrna. There was like all sorts of matches on there. Like I think there was at least 10 Rick Blade matches of him missing tables and shit. So it was definitely a compilation.
That was my first match, the very first Cage of Death, Mantua '99.
Yeah.
That was the first step. And you mentioned Stretched in Smyrna. TOD we live in Smyrna.
Right.
We're in the town. And TOD was like 15 minutes north of where we live right here. We were going to show you, remember we were talking about the venues?
The TOD, that was just that?
Yes, that's in DJ's Farm. Cool. Is 15 minutes. Now, the Smyrna Fire Hall where they had Stretched in Smyrna, and then the other venues like Sexy Eddie Bleeding, the Breakaway Tavern, what's the other, Bulldozers. Those venues are all in the town of Smyrna.
Oh, okay, because like geography-wise, I'm bad in England, let alone America, so I wouldn't have had a fucking clue that it was that
Right.
close.
Well, that's
That was cool.
We're just kind of telling you so you know where you were at. So you didn't. So you and the Mondo Zandig bump was legitimately 10 more minutes south. It's a bar that I go by like once a week. He goes by it all. It's right there, and I look at it.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to try to check it out if I'm at CCW again. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We'd love to have you. You know, we took Mickey Knuckles there. We took we take everyone we could get up.
We
there,
taking people there. Yeah. There's a documentary I did with a guy named Luke Hadley, the history of CZW in Delaware. We got
I think I've watched a bit of it. It's quite long. Yeah. Am I right in thinking?
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting. We did another one.
I have definitely watched bits of it for sure. I know I have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, people like it. So we're historians of like CZW and IWA and things like that. We like that stuff.
Because you talk about like why they lost venues and stuff like that, don't you? On there.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Well, the funny story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the funny story about it was one of the guys by the name of Jeff Rocker wrestled for CZW. And I actually knew him before he was even getting into wrestling. One thing led to another. He started wrestling with CZW. They lost some venues in New Jersey, so he started promoting, and I would help him down here in Delaware, in Smyrna. It's like a chance thing. And then they just had all the TODs. DJ happened to buy the company, and his grandmother's farm is right there. I mean, we're very lucky to be, you know.
Yeah, like geography-wise, you won the deathmatch lottery to be born where you are.
Well, yeah,
100%.
because we're also right. We're also an hour to the ECW arena where they got shows all the time, and then
hour and 20 minutes from Matt Tremont's
H2O, and then you go a little farther, Newark. You know, yeah, we're kind of good.
What I gather, like for friends that have been like, oh, I want to go to America and stuff and wrestle, like, and they ask like advice. From what I've been told, like pretty much New Jersey, Philly is where you want to live if you want to wrestle. You know, 4 or 5 times a week potentially, because you got H2O run on a fucking Monday and Tuesday. You got so many shows. Like, seems to be
New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey to hardcore wrestling, and not just hardcore indie wrestling, is like London to the Premier League soccer.
Yeah,
that's where you want to be. Yeah,
there's a show going on right now at Tremont's. GCW's running right now.
Yeah, the Settlement Series, I think.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, right now.
I can't even keep track of all these things.
There's so many
shows now.
So many shows. ECWA. Some, you know, they ain't really that big. Like Monster Factory, all them.
Yeah, you can get working.
And obviously with New Jersey, you've got the Troma connection as well, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you watch Troma movies, Toxic Avenger and shit like that. Never seen those movies?
I'm not too familiar.
No. Jersey Shore. We watch Jersey Shore.
Check them out for sure.
Snooki. Oh, you like Jersey Shore?
I've never seen it, but I just know they fist pump all the Guidos.
Oh, yeah.
Are they called Guidos, or is that? Am I going to get cancelled? What are they called?
The Guidos.
That is a Guido. Yeah. With the fist
yeah,
pumping
right.
and
no, we love that show. Yeah.
I like the girls on the show.
Yeah,
I like the girls on this show. That's all.
Yeah, Jersey's got a lot of things going on. It's also good. That's where you fly into, right?
Yeah, normally Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, or New York sometimes. I think it's better to fly into Newark though.
Right. Yeah. Then you should go straight down. New York.
Yeah.
When you get into New York airports, it's too crazy. Right.
How long of a flight is it for you?
Best case scenario, 7 hours. But when I did GCW, that took me like 30 hours to get there, probably even longer, with like layovers and flight cancellations and shit. It's fucking horrible.
Well, don't feel bad because we interviewed Alex Nabib, right? And he was taking a 22-hour train one way.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, we did his interview. If you want to check that out, he's really interesting. We did one with him a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's a shame because I'd really like to go to Russia, but now it just seems impossible.
I know.
I don't see that happening.
I know.
Sadly. because he's mad. I tried to like hook him up with like some t-shirt sales or something, and I tried to get money to him, but it was like at the time he couldn't figure out how to get money to him.
Mm.
Yeah, he was saying that. Yeah,
he was saying that they hold his PayPal funds too. That's crazy. People send him money.
Yeah,
that's
I can imagine back home he would probably get shit if like people seen the stuff he posts online. He probably is not even allowed a Facebook, which is mind blowing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we didn't talk about any politics.
No, of course not. But I'm just saying, like, what a crazy life he lives. Like, to do deathmatch and all that punk shit in fucking Russia. Like, that's when people shit on him. I think he's fucking in Russia, man. Like, come on, he's fucking killing it. He's got better promos than pretty much 90% of indie wrestlers because he's got like that character and aura. It's fucking mad.
Yes. Absolutely. And he goes hard too. He goes hard.
Yeah, for probably zero money.
I know. I know. We're trying to get him shirts and stuff.
Just for the love of the game. Good on him.
He definitely loves the game. We can tell that you love the game, and we can tell these guys that really love the game, the artwork of it, and they go out of their way. We appreciate what you guys do. I mean, I really do. I mean, you can't. It's been a part of my life watching wrestling my whole life, ECW and all these things. Yeah. Now, have you been to the ECW arena yet? I know you had to go there.
No, never been. Never ever been. That's on my bucket list. Like,
man,
I would love to go. I do want to go there and get the obligatory photo, but then I think I fucking need to wrestle there just once. Somehow I've got to get over enough that I can wrestle there.
That is the holy grail of you did something. You went there. Yeah. Well, if you can ever get an extra day, when you fly in, you go out the next day, or did they keep you on a tight schedule?
Pretty much one and done. Yeah, I've got like 2 shoot jobs. One that I'm at now, so I work like 90 hours a week, and then tie that in with wrestling, and forever sneaking out of one place to get to one place to go play fight in my pants and then come back.
It's a lot.
The TOD would have been the best weekend because you got to get you over to Smyrna and then go to ECW Arena and put you on a train back up to the thing or something. But it didn't. It's all right. We'll get you to these arenas.
We'll make it work one of these days.
Yes.
So
thanks, guys.
How old were you when you started training?
Like 18. Yeah, probably. I was like a fat kid. I was just like, when I'm 18, I'm gonna like finish college and go learn how to wrestle. So that's just what I did on my 18th birthday. Just found a school, went to go train, and that was closed.
How was your first thing in pro wrestling? What was going through your mind?
Oh, like the first thing, this is really weird, like because I pinned all my hopes on it, I just really, that first bump, I was thinking, please, like, if this fucking sucks and I hate it, it's tough because I put all my eggs in this basket now. That was probably the sort of feeling that went through my head. Because I knew I had to like make it work to an extent. As a delusional 18-year-old, that was probably my first thought.
Oh, okay. Wow. So in England, like now, you pretty much can know everything about how to be a wrestler, the videos, the training, the shoots on it. When you first got into it, did you go in there kind of blind, like you didn't know anything about getting into it?
I kind of knew what to expect. Yeah, I knew what to expect. The place I trained at was very like old school. It's like an old boxing ring. It was like you could only bump corner to corner because it was like 10-foot ring. It's fucking tiny. Yeah, and it was horrible. But I kind of knew what to expect, and shows like Tough Enough had been out by that point. So,
okay. Yeah.
I kind of knew what to expect, but you can't really experience it until you experience it. So
now, do they teach in America they got this hierarchy, the etiquette, the locker room, shaking everybody's hand, don't sit in Big Joe's chair, it's his chair type of thing. Do they have that?
Yeah.
I mean, how is that like the unwritten rules? Do they teach that over there, or how's that?
Maybe not so much now. I think that's just the way with wrestling now. But like you had to obviously shake everyone's hand. It's stupid, the handshake thing, but You had to like be super. Yeah, there was still like young boys and hierarchy, and you'd come backstage and your bag might be in a bin, or like like light ribbing, which you probably don't get now. Yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy. I think it's good personally because if you want to be there, you'll put up with it, right? Like in life, you just have to eat shit sometimes and just
Pay your dues.
accept
Pay
it.
your dues.
Yeah. Within reason, right? Yeah, there was all that sort of thing, and there was like this thing called the 7-year rule, which definitely doesn't happen anymore. I think it's akin to like the Japanese young boys in the black trunks. Like you couldn't come out in your first year and start selling T-shirts at the merch stand because they would just be set on fire. It just wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be selling 8x10s after your first match. You wouldn't, because that's what the older guys they've earned that right to sell that match. Obviously, yeah, with the seats, you go in a locker room, you don't take the fucking top drawer seat. If there's only one seat, then whoever's on the fucking poster, I guess, gets the seat, or whoever's the veteran or whatever. Yeah, it's still very much a thing, I would say. I can see it's fading out a bit more now because, like, you see, like, a lot of the time with the cancel culture of, like, back in the day, if I did something wrong in a match, right, I might have to get behind the car and run a mile, follow the car, run a mile in my boxer shorts or something shit, right? But now that would be considered like, oh, I'm going to cancel my trainer for doing that to me because that made me feel awkward. Yeah, stuff like that, which is it was just part of breaking in, which I think is, it's one of those things, I guess.
It can't be worse than the old shoot interviews where I see the guys from the territories where they used to like purposely like break a bone. Ridiculous. They break a bone and send you back out so you could go say, yeah, wrestling's real. Look, they broke my bone.
Yeah, nothing on that fucking level. I think the worst thing I had ever had, and this 100% makes sense, and I believe everyone should have this when they start training. Like my trainer would throw me off and then clothesline me, but literally just punch me in the face, like real hard. So then when you get up and you just accept it, like, thank you, sir, you get up and you go for another one, he knows that in a real match, if someone accidentally stiffs you, you don't get up and think it's personal and go to shoot on them or, fucking start crying, So I think that was like the final test to be like, you're ready to wrestle, which nowadays you'd get done for bullying or stiffing someone or some shit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, in training, did they
sense right there, doesn't it?
I'm sorry.
It makes sense, right? You get what I'm saying, like. I know in a match, if I accidentally kick you in the face because the ring board goes or I'm a bit clumsy, you're not going to start like. You can accept it and we just move on.
Yeah, right. You're not going to start shooting.
Right, you can't.
Yeah.
Accident.
Yeah.
Speaking of shooting, did they teach you in school, like, say if someone goes off script and starts shooting on you, did they teach you? Did they teach you how to
protect yourself? Shoot, holes.
Yeah, of course, and they teach you loads of like dirty holds and little tricks you can do, like where to put weight on someone, and if someone's making it hard for you, they teach you all those little tricks that you can help in real life as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is amateur wrestling? It's not that big in England, is it? Because we've interviewed guys that have amateur experience.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. Like in America, you can like do amateur wrestling from like first grade, middle school, or whatever.
Yeah.
High school, in England, you would literally have to hunt down a place, and there's like maybe 2 or 3 in the whole of England. Like you could see with like the rise of MMA, like any guy that came from England, like Michael Bisping or someone like that, they were never the best wrestlers. They had to move to America to learn how to wrestle, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Because we've got boxing's a big thing over here for kids, but no wrestling, sadly.
Well, in America, every high school has a wrestling team. No matter how good they are or bad, they have a junior high team, they have a junior varsity team, and a varsity team. And I don't care who you are. If you've had 4 years experience in high school, you're good. I would not want to mess with somebody like that.
Yeah, no, I think that is a really good thing. And as a fat kid in high school, I would have killed for that, because I'd have been like, that's one step closer to pro wrestling. Like you have to learn amateur wrestling, right? Yeah. Like when you were a kid and you learn judo, so you can get a bit closer to learning how to wrestle. Yeah, that would have been fucking sick. Like, I wish they would do that in schools in England.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because Sean Henderson, we interviewed him last week, and he said he had so much amateur experience as a kid. When he walked into Tremont School, he could do the rolls. He could. It was easy. It was very easy for him because he was actually wrestling in high school. And if you're a high school wrestler, you are in top condition no matter what.
Yeah, and it just breeds discipline as well, doesn't it? You know.
Oh yeah. That's why amateur guys like Drake Younger and those type of guys, they walk in and you know, you don't want to mess with them. They'll take you down quick.
Yeah, just general life skills, really. Every person, boy or girl, should fucking learn that shit.
So you started training when you were 18. How old were you when you had your first match?
Maybe 19. Or no, it's definitely 18. It was about 6 months in. I had my first match. Like a 6-man tag.
Okay, and what was your thoughts going into it? Were you really nervous?
Oh yeah, I was shitting my pants. Shitting because back then you weren't really told what you're gonna do. So obviously, when your first match, you call it T-Rex arms. You know, in a tag match where you kind of want to tag in, but you don't want to tag in.
Yeah.
So I had T-Rex arms going on and super nervous, but it was all right. 6-man tag. If you haven't got anything planned, nothing can go wrong. So.
Hold on,
okay. Yeah, there we go. We're good.
He's really good at cutting out any kind of bullshit that's messed up or nothing. Yeah. I remember a guy named Jody Fleisch used to come to CZW, man, back in like the
best of the best two. That's the infamous tape trading match for me and my friends. Best of the best two. Jody Fleisch versus Johnny Storm. They stole the show. Like two British lads went to the Philly arena and fucking stole the show. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, I think that was in Champs. Wasn't that in Champs?
No, ECW arena.
Oh, they went to ECW for that? Yeah, I was at that. Yeah, we love Jody Fleisch. Then he went to Ring of Honor, but he was with CZW for a good long time. Yeah, I loved to watch that.
It was a crazy match.
Yeah,
Ruckus. It was them two and Ruckus.
Yeah. CZW.
That was probably my favorite time as a tape trader. About that era. Yeah, 100%.
Them CZW shows back in that day, they were every single one of them was a five-star show, you know, from start to finish.
So you were in England and you were following every month what was going on in CZW. You knew you just weren't at the shows, but you were following it every month, like the storylines and everything.
Yeah, huh? Maybe like with tape trading delays, maybe like 2 months behind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't stream stuff so easy then. If you could, that would be a shitty little video on BearShare or LimeWire or something. But I kept up with it. I was a few months behind, depending on how quick I could get the tapes.
Okay. What about IWA Mid-South? Were you guys into that?
I got into Mid-South through CZW, probably. I was a bit late to the party on that. I think mine's went ECW, CZW, CZW, FMW, Big Japan, then through the feud with like Ian Rotten and stuff. Then I went back and started watching IWA Mid-South and started keeping up with them as well.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what kind of got me into IWA. That feud they had with CZW, they started bringing the IWA guys over, and it really piqued my interest. JC. That's how I discovered JC Bailey, corporate guys like that. I was there with that Invasion.
Yeah, we were at the Invasion day, and that place went nuts. I think they threw chairs, right?
Yeah, they're not supposed to.
They got chairs. There was so much real heat. I mean, they're real heat there. And then when they did the Ring of Honor versus CZW series, oh man, people were like. The Ring of Honor people were like wanting to fight. It was like the hooligans of soccer. They really had a following. The CZW people were there, all sitting in one area.
Oh yeah.
Remember Zandig came up and sat with the fans. Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah, that was such a fucking cool era. I remember it so well. That was it was interesting because it's fun because like as you become older and smarter, things don't become as aren't as fun, but with storylines like that, they kind of blur the lines, and I think you really sink your teeth into them. That was cool to see.
Oh yeah.
Especially that angle. I think that's probably one of my favorite wrestling angles that I've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2007, I think you made your debut here in America. Is that correct?
Maybe, I don't know. What match was that? I did a tag match.
For
Me and
D1,
my friend Duck.
I believe it was for D1PW.
I think that's right. It was me and Danny Darko versus Chase and Rance of all people, and someone else. I can't remember. That show we met New Jack though, so it was all worth it.
Okay, that's awesome. What was your thoughts on coming to America for for the first time? Like, what was going through your mind? Were you super excited?
Yeah, man, that was fucking. It was just insane because I think Sid was supposed to be on that show, so we were like total marking out and fanboying, and then we got to, you know, do a show with New Jack and hang out with him and experience the madness of that. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. It was real fun. Even though I was way too green and should not have been anywhere near that ring, but one of those things.
Pretty awesome.
Well, how did that happen? How did you come at it from England to that show? How did that come about?
Okay, so by fluke, me and my friend went to. We used to get fake IDs when we were like 18, and we'd just save up money and then go to America just on holiday. Just save up, go on holiday, save up, go on holiday. And then by chance, my friend dated a girl whose dad used to be like a jobber for WCW and used to be like like around Florida and shit. And then he just randomly, she was dating him and we got on really well. And he was just like, oh, yeah, I'll get you on this show. And he just got us on a show when we were out there. Like, obviously, we paid to go on holiday. And he was like, oh, I'll get you this booking. And then he got us like 2 or 3 bookings. So,
that's cool. That was worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, that you couldn't have bought that. I mean, that was great. That was a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And like, we got to meet New Jack. We'd go backstage at TNA shows. And just like stand there at catering and just watch everyone as like, as an early like 20, maybe 21, probably younger because I had my fake ID. So,
wow, that's great. And you were 21?
In England, you got to be 18 to drink alcohol. So when we were 18, we got fake IDs from America saying we were 21. We'd come on holiday like every 2 months, just go to Florida. So
that's crazy.
I have to use the fake ID over here. Over there, sorry, where you are. Yeah, America. So,
did you have any interaction with New Jack while you were over here in that show?
Yeah, he was fucking mad. He was drinking with us, and he did this whole like locker room thing. It was really surreal. Like he had this knife in his boot as well, just in case the guy was going to go into business for himself. Yeah, no, I can hear you guys.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, there was no feeling like I could describe when you would be at ECW Arena and New Jack would come out and they'd play that music and he just came running out with a trash can and certain things you cannot describe. You have to be there, even though it's interesting on video. But when you're there, it's a completely different experience, kind of like TOD or something like that. You know what I mean?
Of all the cool shit you guys got to see live, and in England, man, there were some dark days over here. I tell you.
Well, you're making up for it, brother. You're making up for it. We've seen, you're doing good.
So you said your first match here was you tagged with Danny Darko. How'd you guys get to be someone asked how'd you guys meet?
Just through WAW have got a training school, so WAW is like Page's family, Page from AEW family. They're a big thing over here. There's fucking loads of them, like really good, all really good. And they've got a training school, so I went and trained there as well. My trainers said train everywhere you can, like good, bad, whatever. Just train, and you'll learn something or learn not to do something. So I trained with them, where I learned to do things, like good things, obviously. And Darko was there, and we just became friends straight away. Like on the first night, we sounds really lame. The first day we met, we just became like best friends.
So when you started off over there in England, the hardcore deathmatch scene wasn't too big, correct?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't one. When I first started, there was no deathmatch scene at all. You might get like a hardcore match, like WWE style hardcore bacon trays, pots and pans sort of shit. And then later on, as I started, progressing and wrestling, guys like Iceman, Jimmy Havoc, Clint Margera were doing sort of deathmatch stuff. But back then, I was still too young to be able to. We still had that young boy sort of feel over here. Like you couldn't do it, and then there wouldn't be promoters that would do it anyway. So it's just like those three, and then just as time went on, started working for promotions that started. Is there anything you want to do? So just one of those things that took a while.
The fans now. The fans in America and England, how are they different? Now, let me tell you something. In America, the New Jersey fans are completely different from the Midwest fans. The California fans and the Deep South fans are another type of fan. Is that like it is in England, or are they pretty much all the same up there? You know what I'm getting at?
I think it depends on the show. Like if it's like a typical indie show, with like 18-year-old guys, that sort of show, they're totally different crowds to. We have like the equivalent of real redneck style fans.
Oh, okay.
We have those shows as well, where they still kind of believe it's real and still a bit hills have eyes types.
Okay.
So it just depends on the show. I think they're kind of universal. I wouldn't say, because England's not really that big. You don't really get that many differences. Like you said, in America, I noticed like the Californian fans are so different to the New Jersey fans. Like you can see the same country, but totally different fucking personalities. Whereas in England, it just depends on the show. If it's a smart mark type show, you know exactly what it's going to be crowd wise. It's going to be 18-year-old plus guys, girls, normally goth type, people. And then you get your family shows where it might be hills have eyes, redneck style, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, we go down. I've been to Carnage Cup and the IWA Mid-South, and I love going down there because it's a different type of feeling. Even the promoters are different in every area.
Yeah.
I think the East Coast is more it seems like it's more professional. And then you go to some places like anything goes almost, like do what you want. Throw them out.
Those the Californian fans that XPW seems to be getting are pretty fucking wild. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can talk about that. Now, we used to go to XPW when it was in Philly for a couple of days. They were there for a short period of time, then it folded up. But yeah, how did you get back? How did you get into that one? XPW. I know you must have been a fan, right?
Yeah, I used to go on their website a lot as a kid, and the tapes were a bit harder to get over here at the time. And then, eventually got my hands on them. I mean, what's not to like as a 14-year-old kids watching XPW back then? Like, some of the matches were absolute train wrecks and beyond rotten. But then you had, like, ECW guys, you had cool lucha guys, fucking tits. Who, like, what 14-year-old boy doesn't want to see? Like, I'm a straight male. Why wouldn't I want to watch that shit? So, yeah. XPW.
Absolutely. And it's funny because that was my first VHS I bought at Coconuts. It had I bought it because it was like a shock factor. You know what I mean? It had I think it was like
Baptized in Blood 2 and shit.
Yeah,
the fucking crazy covers.
And the crazy cover, it said over 18. You must be over 18 to purchase this. It was awesome.
It's crazy. Like me, him, you. We're like all drawn to the same thing. Gather the Juggalos, crazy fans, crazy wrestling. And like, I'm having more fun interviewing you than if you said, hey, you want to interview John Cena? I'd be like, I want Big Joe. I'm not kidding, because it's what I like. You know what I mean? And I've always been into lower level music too. Like lower bands. I'm not into the big stadium shows. I go to small punk rock, rap, whatever it is.
For me, it becomes too sanitized. Like, don't get me wrong, there's obviously mainstream bands I fucking love, but I'd rather see a band in front of 100 people in a dingy fucking punk rock bar than go to an arena where it's like air conditioned and beers are $10 and same with wrestling. I like the chaos. That's why I like fucking crazy brawls through the crowd and the madness of deathmatch. I think they go hand in hand, punk rock horrorcore, like, you know, Juggalo shit.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
goes hand in hand.
But now, are there fans in England that strictly like WWF and or WWE, and they don't even know about you? They ignore the indie scene and all that.
Oh, 100%. That's 99.9% of wrestling fans, I think. Overall, I would say, definitely.
You know,
I think in other countries it's like that.
yeah, it's like that. Yeah,
WWE.
Germany and all
You
that.
try to show them, you know, some good deathmatch wrestling. But
Yeah.
they won't even watch it.
But it burns me up that the guys that they're cheering now used to be in the indies like that. And Moxley, Kevin Steen, Tyler Black, all those guys, they came through CZW. They did hardcore. They did. And then, I don't know, it's like you said, corporate. You know, it sucks.
It gets crazy. Not that it's cool. Hulk Hogan.
No, go ahead.
Hulk Hogan said on a recent interview, they said, if you had to redo the Mega Powers, who would you pick? And he picked Kevin Owens, which I thought was pretty badass.
That's cool.
Sexy Eddie made the IWS come down here when him and Green Phantom and Arsenal. Do you remember that tournament?
That was number 3.
He's good. He's good. I can't even remember that. That's legitimately
I'm exceptionally stoned right now. So
well, that's good. That's good. Breakaway Tavern, where Sexy Eddie and Phantom wrestled Necro. That is like a quarter mile from where I could walk to that place. Basically, it's very close to where I live. But that day, Eddie burst his. You've seen the video where he's squirting blood up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up going to the hospital in Dover, Delaware, right? Because he couldn't go on. It was really squirting. And later in the day, Necro and Whitebeard went off that truck, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Necro needed to go to the hospital. So I brought Necro to the hospital. And Eddie was in there. And Eddie went in there with his thong, right? And he shows up and he tells them that he was stripping at a bachelorette party and he slipped on a glass table and cut his arm, right?
Oh, that's amazing.
He made it when the nurses found out that he was a stripper and he was, you know, well built, all this stuff, they were loving him. They were all going in there. When we walked in the hospital, I brought Necro in. I walked back. It was pretty casual. You could walk in a little partition area. Eddie and Manny were right next door. And we're like, oh, what's going on? They had given Eddie an orderly's outfit to wear because he walks in there in his bikini under. He wanted to walk in there like that. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, work the gimmick, 100%.
And they were like loving him. Nurses were giving him hugs when he was all cleaned up. He looked like he was ready to go out to a bar and party. And Necro was brought in all beat up. But it was so funny that they were just giving him hugs. Bye, Eddie. You know, I'll never forget that. And then he came back, and then IWS all started coming down. Kevin Steen, Generico, and all that. That kind of led. If you really think about it, that gave a lot. That match, that show gave everybody a break because if they wouldn't have Green Phantom, if he wouldn't have gone crazy, they wouldn't have come back, and then they would have never come down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I've seen like Sexy Eddie say that on a. Did that even make it onto the network? Didn't they interview him or something? Or am I just really stoned and making it up? Because that is true. Like without those guys getting over, you wouldn't have had your Generico and Steen. It just wouldn't have happened.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, who else was? A lot of guys came down.
The Green Phantom, the Ninjas,
Phantom,
Arsenal, Frankie the Mobster was on there.
Yeah. Well, was he just on the show with Eddie and?
Frankie the Mobster.
No, Eddie and Phantom. Were you on that show last week? Wait, were they on that show? He didn't come to New Jersey.
No.
Oh, you weren't on that show. Okay.
But growing up from the early 2000s, what was your favorite tournament?
TOD2 probably. TOD2.
Mondo and Ian Mania.
Oh, Mondo and Ian. Okay.
If you could win any deathmatch tournament in the States, that would mean the most to you. Which one would it be?
My first one. Whatever one the pencil person gives me. It would be cool. It would be cool to take Tournament of Death you know, that trophy home, because that was the shit I traded as a kid. Yeah, fuck it, TOD. That would be the one. I mean, taking that trophy home would be fucking hard on the plane, but I would be one of those guys that would be a mark and just keep it. I wouldn't just sell it on. I'd fucking take it.
You would sell it. Yeah, TOD is definitely a good one. You know, me and him are big fans of Tournament of Death, and you know, if they gave me like front row tickets to WrestleMania or a general admission at Tournament of Death, I would 100% pick Tournament of Death. No question there is.
Yeah, it was cool. I was glad they brought it back, and I was glad. Obviously, it wasn't the best tournament. There's been some fucking insane tournaments this year, but I mean, I think CZW put in a good showing that day. It was, good to see the crowd not shit on it and people actually give it a chance, because like, why the fuck would you not want it to succeed? The more shows, the better. The more guys get paid, the more chances there are for different guys. You know.
Well, talking about that, do you guys have people over there that like argue over nonsense over federation, indie federation, hardcore federation, and do the stuff they do over here?
Yeah, I think that's part of the. I think subconsciously a lot of fans like that part of the wrestling thing, and that's cool because it gives them something to do, right? Like we all like picking a side, like divide and conquer and sort of shit. But yeah, I think like most logical people realize it's good because, like I said, more shows, more paydays, more opportunities for guys. So it's not the same like fucking guy versus this guy week in, week out on every show.
Yeah.
You know, and the cream will rise to the top. You know, who wouldn't want more options? But it is fun to go back and forth and troll each other and shit. Like I think a lot of fans, I would hope, when they're saying that shit, are just like playing a part and just having a laugh with it rather than actually seriously, believing some of that shit.
It goes along, when sometimes a fan will say something in America. I don't know if they do it over there. They might off, not politically correct or something like that. But you're at a wrestling show, so all rules go out the window. You know what I mean? It's just like it's the nature of the fan. We're not at the Polo Grounds or
you're not at the opera.
Yeah. I mean, where else can you go and a little guy go up to a guy like you and give him the middle finger and cuss you out? 1 foot away from you, and you can't do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wrestling. It's wrestling.
People like that. That's something that you could, or
wrestling's like nothing else.
Yeah, wrestling's like nothing else. That's why we like it so much. Good.
So early on in your career, you got to wrestle Tommy Dreamer, right?
Yes, that was a cool night for me.
How was how was going into that match? How did you feel working ECW, ECW legend?
Yeah, for me that was a big thing. I think at that point I'd had maybe a few years out or something like that. Like having kids and doing adult shit, and then I got asked to do the show in a triple threat match, and I remember Tommy not being able to make it till 5 minutes before the match because he'd done a double shot. So me and my friends are like shitting our pants because what do you do? Like Tommy Dreamer's the veteran and stuff. So he turned up 5 minutes before the match, saying we're going to do this, this, and this. We did this, this, and this, and it went okay. So it was just cool to be fucking, an absolute fanboy in that corner when you hear his music hit. That was pretty cool. Definitely got goosebumps at the time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Was it a hardcore match?
Yeah. Easy, like pots and pans, you know what spots you're going to expect, the drop toe hold into the chair and the bowling ball spot and stuff like that. But it's like, what the fuck? That's what I would want to see anyway, so it was good.
How did you get involved with Rise Wrestling?
That was through Leonardo Darwin. He's another one of my good friends who I met through WAW school. He didn't have a place to stay that night, so I said he could stay around mine. We went out and hit the bars and shit like that, and we have a lot in common. So he got me into Rise just as his henchman, and it just went from there. Started getting booked on more shows, and then they gave me like the big fucking Joe gimmick, and kind of things got a bit better from there, really.
Oh, that's interesting.
Asking about the
What's that?
The food. We jump around.
For food? Yeah, the food.
Food. Okay, now I know people in Europe and they go crazy over some of the food that we have in America. Now, I know nothing about a chain restaurant or a fast food in England. I wouldn't know any of them. But it seems as though you Europeans know all about our stuff, right?
Yeah, Americans have the best food, like even the best shit food, like food that you know is not good for you, like like a 7-Eleven pizza or taquito and shit like that. You just wouldn't get in my country. It's brilliant. I fucking love it.
Okay, let's go down to things. Waffle House.
I'm not into waffles. I wouldn't eat a waffle. No.
Okay. That's a big thing because they're open 24 hours a day. A lot of wrestlers used to go there at 2 a.m. Okay.
Yeah. I know you can get steaks and stuff from there as well, I believe, but
yeah,
I've never been a waffle person, so it's not really my place.
When you were in California, did you go to In-N-Out Burger?
Yeah, really disappointing. I mean,
Really?
I was stoned, and don't get me wrong, any fucking burger's a good burger, right? But it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Really?
I prefer White Castle.
Yeah, I was going to do White Castle. Now, have you ever been to White Castle?
Yeah, White Castle's good. A box of 32 burgers if you're really fucking stoned, and they're tiny.
Yeah, but
so
they're
good.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they're so good.
Where did you go to that one? In New Jersey?
I think Chicago. I wrestled for ICW.
Oh, okay. Yep. They got one.
Yeah,
they got one near the airport.
Yeah, fucking White Castle.
Yeah, White Castle's right near the airport. And if you sit there and eat in the parking lot, the planes are coming 30 feet above you. Yes, I like that.
Wawa. What about Wawa?
Yeah, Wawa. Everybody likes Wawa. You guys come over here
Wawas are the future. They are the fucking future. They make me feel like a third world child because we have nothing like that in England. You just get a shit sausage roll. Yeah. After 11 o'clock at night, all there is McDonald's, 24-hour takeaways and kebab shops, if you're lucky. But there's fucking Wawas are the best. You can get everything from them. Like the sandwiches are so good.
Oh, yeah. All you guys like it, and you like to be able to go on there and make a sub, and you just press the button with exactly what you want on the sub, right?
I don't. Yeah, I don't like pressing the button. I'd rather just talk to the person.
Okay.
But yeah, and they're really easy to steal sandwiches from because I tried to pay last time, and I tried to pay at the desk where they make the sandwich, and they sent me to the kiosk where you pay for gas, and then they sent me back to the sandwich place. So I was like, oh fuck it. It's a freebie in life, and I just walked out. I tried, man, 3 times.
Well, having fun with this. All right, what about your Chick-fil-A? You ever had that one?
Chick-fil-A? No, I've not. The queues have always been so long every time I've seen a Chick-fil-A. I'm guessing it's pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah. I just had
Jasmine Sinclair likes Cracker Barrel.
I love fucking Cracker Barrel. Oh, my God.
And there's little. No, man, you need some time. Look, you come here. We'll take care of you, man. We know where to take you. Cracker Barrel, 40 minutes down the road. God, you went right by a Cracker Barrel when you huh?
Cracker Barrel has this thing called country gravy. I don't know what the fuck it is. We just have gravy in. Yeah, well, I don't like the biscuit part, but the actual gravy, we just have gravy in England. We don't have country gravy. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's magic. It's so good.
Did you have their pancakes?
Don't like pancakes.
Oh, wow. That was going to be my next
What?
That's
no pancakes, man.
Oh,
I was going to say IHOP. Have you had IHOP?
No. When I first came to America, though, I thought IHOPs were bus stations because there were so many of them. I thought it was like IHOP on a bus.
Okay.
There was like one, and then there was another one, and I didn't realize there were pancake shops.
What about Chinese Panda Express?
Orange chicken is the fucking when you're high as a kite. Orange chicken is the one. We don't get orange chicken in England. We only get lemon chicken, which is nowhere near as good.
So you hit Panda Expresses?
Yeah, love it. When I work in Vegas, there's one right next to the casino I work at.
Uh-huh.
And
I
just
know.
constantly getting stoned and getting Panda Express.
What about P.F. Chang's Chinese food? That's a higher
Yes,
level.
very good, very good. They've got a really good pad Thai.
They're building one about half hour from where we live. Yeah, I love P.F. Chang's. He said you're hitting all of them. What else? What other places?
I'm a fat bastard. I will eat in America just to eat when I'm not even hungry. I just like, can we just stop here? I just want to try it. Yeah, fuck it.
These people go crazy over these things. So, what is it? Oh, Royal Farms chicken.
No, I've never had that.
You need to try there. It's called the world's best chicken. They're really good. Royal Farms chicken. What else? Popeyes.
Popeyes is overrated.
Okay.
It's okay. It's overrated. But your KFC is really shit as well. Like KFC in America is no good. It's
yeah, I don't go there. Yeah. No.
English KFC is the one.
English is where to go.
I don't think you know Sheetz.
Yeah, Sheetz is like
Sheetz is like a Wawa, isn't it?
Yes. Oh,
Well,
a lot of people in Delaware.
A
lot of people in Delaware don't even know what a Sheetz is because we don't have any here, right? We don't have
none in Delaware
now.
Delaware. You like Wawa, you like Royal Farms for chicken. What? When you came here, did people take you to these places, or did you say, "I want to go to that"? Find me a Cracker Barrel.
No. People just like take me places, and it just works out because like I've never been like I finally went to an Olive Garden after I did GCW last week, and I keep seeing the adverts on American TV, and like just looks fucking great, endless pasta and shit. And
wait, you've been to an Olive Garden?
Yeah, I finally went to one. That was on my list. I wanted to go for years, but I just never go anywhere near one.
God, there was one right down the street when you were in Smyrna.
Man. We'll take you all these.
Yeah, we'll get you. That's great. I'm thinking of what else. What other restaurants?
Yeah, I have Red Robin. Red Robin's is good. You like burgers? Red Robin.
Yeah.
Steak and Shake. You ever heard of that? That's out in the Midwest, but they have some here too.
Yeah, no, I think I had a Steak and Shake in Florida. I want to say.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Jack in the Box.
Yeah. That's out west.
I think in Vegas. It was okay.
Okay. Well, we beat the food system.
Have you tried this? This is a good one. Fuck, I'm so high. Crystal? Is it Crystals? No.
Krispy Kreme.
Checkers is the one.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I've never been to a Checkers.
Checkers is fucking good. Checkers is so bad and like shit quality. Like it's bad, and you're eating like fucking brains and assholes and lips. But when it's really good.
What's your favorite fries in America?
Like gimmick fries with like cheese and bacon bits and stuff like that.
Okay, like fast food restaurant wise, what's your favorite? Like Burger King, McDonald's, Checkers.
What, fries? Or just in general?
Just fries.
Fries. McDonald's have the best fries.
McDonald's is
good.
They go crazy. Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme. You ever been to one of those?
Yeah, I don't fuck with donuts. Donuts, pancakes, waffles. And I'm not really into that sort of stuff.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, well, we beat the food to death.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Everybody in London and England is interested in American food and things like that.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying it's good for us, and it's obviously not, because look at the state of a lot of Americans. But it's so good. It tastes so good.
Yeah. That's good. See, we wouldn't know any English. I wouldn't know where to go. I mean, I would just eat at an English restaurant. I don't know any of your fast food chain restaurants. I don't know. I mean, I know you got McDonald's and stuff, but I wouldn't know where to go. I would just start. No, I'll have an English muffin, please. Okay. What else?
So what was going through? What was your first? Do you remember what your first death match was, and what was going through your mind? Looking at seeing the light tubes and all the gimmicks out there.
I think it was in Rise. I'm pretty sure, because they said we could do like hardcore matches. It was like can we use some light tubes? And the promoter's cool as fuck, and he's like, yeah, whatever. If you can get them, bring them. And I'm pretty sure that was the first like sort of death match I've ever done. I think it was me, Michael Caden, and Danny Darko. And yeah, I just fucking loved it, man. It was just mad, you know, because after a year, like seeing the photos, seeing the videos, and then you don't get to practice it, and like because you don't do it in training schools, right? You don't practice hitting each other with light tubes and shit. So like the first time to do it and do it with like two of my best friends in wrestling, yeah, it was fucking really cool experience. I loved it.
That's awesome.
Probably a bit too much. I probably loved it a bit too much.
Well, yeah, we interviewed Raven Havoc, and he prefers that. I mean, he begs for the death match on a show, and the more weapons, the better for him. I mean, would you prefer? I mean, if you're on a show, we said do what you want. You can do a comedy, you can do a regular wrestling match, you know, just holds and regular, or a death match. Which would you pick?
This sounds really lame. Like, the true answer to me would be, can you tell me what the crowd's going to be like? What kind of crowd is your show going to draw? Okay. Right? Because like, I love having fucking death matches, but if there was a kid show, then I just love doing like the goofy fucking holiday camp style match, you know, if they're like inflatable hammers and the fucking hacksaw Jim Duggan shit. And, you know, like I have just as much fun. Depending on the show, you know, would be my answer.
So,
I know that sounds weird, but
no, I understand. No, that was a stupid question on my part, because you know what? If there's nobody in the crowd and there's three people, you don't want to do a death match. You could do a comedy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
No, I understand that, because I don't like to see a death match with no crowd either. I don't like it. I don't really like it.
Yeah, like that's the biggest thing that like annoys me with like growing up as a tape trader, right? So we didn't have that shit in England, like, and then we got like one or two shows. Like you'd watch shows and there'd be like 15 people in the crowd, and it'd all be sat separate, and it'd all be like sat on their hands, like really bored. And I think, man, I'd be going fucking mental if that was in my country. Like I was watching that.
Oh yeah.
I just almost thought like those guys are so spoiled. Like, you know, you don't go to a punk gig to stand there like that, do you? You know, you don't go to a fucking wrestling show, a deathmatch wrestling show, to sit on your fucking hands. Man.
No, you're right. You're right. So now, like a TOD crowd where they have like 1,000 people there, are you feeding off those fans? Like, how does that make your match differently when we're like Big Joe, Necro, and all that, and people?
Oh, 100% better. 100% better. That, you know, that helps take the sting out of Necro's punches, because they're the fucking hardest punches I've ever had in the ring, out of the ring. So that helps. Yeah, the fucking crowd make everything better. Like, you can just turn something into nothing, you know, like. When I was at TOD this year, and I kicked like the fucking baby into the crowd, you know, like you wouldn't plan that. You wouldn't plan that, but it got a good reaction. And you know, the more the crowd give, the more the wrestlers give. It's like a weird circle jerk. Like, you know, the harder they go, the harder you want to go.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. Are you in like a zone? Like you're like, when there's a big crowd and you and Necro and you're going at it, Beverly and all that, or what are you thinking? What's in your mind? Like, are you noticing fans? Are you noticing, what's in the mind?
I don't know, it's kind of like really abstract, like the weirdest things go through your mind when you're out there. You might notice some things. It's weird. It's like you're kind of on autopilot, and then you have these weird moments of like surrealness. It's really hard to explain.
But it's different from a death match, a regular match, a comedy match. Completely different, right? In your mind. Yeah,
100%. Like in a death match, like it really, like it's a cool experience. Like when you're covered in blood and you can't see, or you're starting to go faint and stuff, and you really have to fucking dig deep. Like you have to dig deep to keep your mind focused on getting to the finish of that match. That is probably one of the best things about doing a death match, because it's such a surreal experience. Like most people in real life, hopefully go through their whole life with never having to dig deep, you know, like you just have a nice life, have a nice, you know, existence. But when you literally feel like you're going to pass out from blood loss and you have to dig deep and keep your mind strong, it's such a fucking weird abstract feeling, and you only get that in death matches.
That's what people say, man. It's like adrenaline, and they're in a zone off of that.
Yeah, it is weird. I think like there is something sort of like animalistic in like bloodletting and stuff like that. If you look into it, and like the endorphins that are, fucking come out. And, I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely a weird experience.
It's a weird experience. Yes, definitely. That So you were talking about weapons. So we had Raven Havoc on there, and this guy loves gusset plates. He says he can't get his the Japanese guy the one that did your shirt
Sayazawa, yeah.
Sayazawa has a gusset plate on his design for Raven Havoc. He loves gussets, and we were talking about like, do they feel differently wherever you get them? Like if you get them in the head, they feel different. And I counted it. Is about 100. There's 12 rows one way and 12 rows the other way with a little hole in it. There's about 140 spikes on those things.
Wow.
How do you take it? How do you take those spikes? I can't imagine. I don't know what, like when you get hit with that, gee.
Yeah, I think stuff like that fucking sucks. Like, I'm definitely not gonna big myself up and say I'm tough or anything, because I am a pussy. Like, I can't even do, like when you take your fucking blood level with your finger, the pinprick thing. I can't even do that. So I guess in deathmatch wrestling, like, the only reason I'll be able to do stuff like that is because it's out of my hands. Like, I wouldn't ever be able to hit myself with a gusset in the chest. Like, someone's doing it to me.
Yeah.
If someone's doing it to me, it's totally different. It's like the thing I said when I first started training to wrestle, and I thought, like, this first bump, if this fucking sucks and I hate it, it's tough luck, because this is all I've ever wanted to do. So, like, fucking gussets suck balls, but I want to be a fucking deathmatch wrestler, so it's just one of those things. It's tough shit, really. Yeah, well, so
you're definitely making a name in the country. And you know what's good is now, before, like, you had tape traders, nobody would know about different areas. Now you're internationally known. I mean, there's people watching you in Japan, Germany, and all that. Do you have fans contacting you from different parts of the world? You never would have gotten that without what we have now with the cable and internet and all that. IWTV, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I truly think, not as a fan myself, because obviously our era of CZW we just talked about, but I think this is like the golden era of deathmatch wrestling in the terms of, like, more eyes are on it now than ever before.
Okay.
Like, with GCW, with the Trullo deal, with Fight and stuff. So many promotions. Like, deathmatch isn't really a niche thing anymore, as much as it was. So I think that's really helped with, like, me getting to go over to America and stuff, because the scene is, the world's quite small now. So you got, like, Australia popping off, Japan's crazier than ever, US is fucking insane, like 3 or 4 shows a weekend.
Absolutely. Let's back up a little. Your first time taking the light tubes or gimmicks like that. Every deathmatch wrestler tells me the first shower. That shower is always the worst. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, it fucking sucks. It sucks. Like, and 9 times out of 10 in England, especially with Rise, there's no showers at the venues. So like, you'll have to potentially, maybe if you're going out that night, go to the hotel and then try shower before you hit the bars, which sucks because you can never really get cleaned up. Or you drive 4 or 5 hours home to then try, like, get a shower, once you get home. But you've been like, this fucking sucks, man. That's the worst part about it, by far.
Hey, man, I appreciate what you guys do. I mean, and us fans do appreciate it. So, I mean, and I know what you go through, but it's like a mutual respect type of thing. You need the fans, and we love you guys. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What about the
how did COVID affect you guys over there, like, wrestling wise? Like, here, everything stopped. Deathmatch wrestling was the only thing really running over here. How was it over there?
Yeah.
For you?
Oh, it fucking sucked, man. Like, there was no shows. Like, I had a weird trifecta. So I did the last ever show in England before lockdown. So the night we went into lockdown, we did a show. And then they had like a 2-week gap in between lockdowns where they're like, oh, we're going to let everyone out again. did a show then, and then I did the first show back from lockdown. But there was literally, that was it. There was 3 shows in however long lockdown was. Was it a year and a half, maybe 2? It was about a year and a half, maybe. I don't know. It's all bullshit. Like, you are very lucky in America to have those deathmatch shows.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hardcore deathmatch wrestling thrived during the pandemic. They were running them in buildings. Nobody was caring. It wasn't like it was like in a big city arena. If you had a building, nobody was going to come in there and break it up.
And I think it was the only genre. It was the only genre it would work in as well, because like deathmatch fans are obviously the extreme type of fan, and they're going to be less like, oh, like, yeah, it's COVID, let's not fucking live our lives and do shit, sort of, because like they are more punk rock and like anarchistic or whatever, you know, like just do what the fuck you want. And like, so I don't think it really could have been a better genre for it than deathmatch wrestling. It wouldn't have worked if it was just, you know, like normal indie fucking, you know, Will Ospreay versus Ricochet style, those sort of shows. It wouldn't work because they'd be like, oh, this is inappropriate. But deathmatch wrestling fans don't give a fuck because they're all animals anyway. So
we are animals. So speaking of it, oh, you better say something.
No, you go.
Speaking of animals, the Gathering of the Juggalos. You went to one of them. I was at that one. It was in Ohio about 5 years ago, right?
Yeah. That's about right. Yeah.
I was at that. So how did you get on? How did that
happen? ICP came over for a tour in England. It was like the first tour they'd done in maybe 15 years. So I think the last one got cancelled, and there was like crazy stories about like people fucking doing moonsaults off the venues and riots and shit. And basically we snuck backstage at the show when, you know, they do like the meet and greet thing. Spoke to the clowns, just said like, look, you know, we're like pro wrestlers, like our WrestleMania would be, can we wrestle at the Gathering and the Juggalos? Just like, you got to fucking try these things, right? So they were like super cool, shot a promo with me, even though they didn't have to. They could have got me kicked out or whatever, like super cool. And then took my email on a fucking paper plate, which, you know, didn't believe anything was going to come of it, because like, why would it? Like, they're playing a gig 10 minutes later and whatever, busy. But like 3 months later, they hit me up on email like, yeah, if you can get to the Gathering, we'll like pay you, you know, and all this stuff. So they were like super cool and like fucking went above and beyond, which is a massive thing for me, because the first like album I ever got was Great Malenko. So it was a full circle thing. Fucking super cool, like Gavin and Juggalos. You just have to go, even if you're not a juggler. It's fucking insane.
Right. Here we go.
Yeah.
Jersey. Shaggy.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, got this to the Gathering. I like that kind of stuff because I like the wrestling. Pondo got me into the Gathering of Juggalos back in like the early 2000s. He telling me about it when he was coming to CZW. He said, you need to go to this thing. I'm like, yeah. Wow. And I was hooked on it because if you like wrestling, you're probably gonna like the Gathering of the Juggalos.
It's like nothing else. Like
no
other music festival out there.
Right? Were you there the whole time, or did you didn't just come and go one show? Did you?
Nah, I fucking stayed. I stayed the whole weekend. Like, I could have got a hotel and stuff, but I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm staying in a tent with the Gypsy crew. It's fucking so good.
You stayed in a tent?
Yeah, fuck that.
Okay.
The Juggalos. I don't fuck about. I'm not staying in a hotel. I want to be a part of that.
No,
shit.
Okay, he's super hardcore. Yeah, I got you. So you came into Ohio, and then you went to all the concerts and everything, then, huh?
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
Wait, Necro was there too, right? Chewy and Necro were there too, weren't they? Chewy, Mickey?
Not that year. Not that year.
No, Necro. No, not.
No, I think he was the year before and the year after.
But you've only been to one, right?
Yeah, I've only been to one.
And was it like a life-changing experience when you get there and you see the like craziness?
100%. Yeah, fucking. It was everything I wanted it to be. Like, there's a reason there's so many documentaries made about it, and it's fucking the best.
It's like nothing else.
But you know what? It's the safest place you can be because, like, everybody gets along. I mean, there's a little scramble here and there, but everybody gets along. you know, and they're cool to every. I mean, it's a good. It's not dangerous at all. You just gotta be there. I mean, yeah, you just gotta watch out. Did they throw stuff at you in the ring?
No, that was cool. I think, there wasn't really enough crowd to throw stuff in the ring by that point. But
you know,
no, everyone was super cool. The only thing that pisses me off at the gathering is like, cool, throw bottles of Fago, but at least undo the fucking lids. You know, don't be throwing in a full-on 3 liter because that could like kill someone. Has to just be in a cunt. Like undo the bottle, so like, you know, I didn't like that. But they didn't do it in the wrestling, so it didn't really affect me.
That's cool. You know, I noticed that too. Years ago, they used to have these big bleachers, and there would be like thousands of people. If you've seen old videos, and there'd be a lot more people. And then it seems like they didn't promote it as much because Juggalo Championship Wrestling was its own company. They would travel as just wrestling shows.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went down, and the ones in the like mid 2000s, they were just like unbelievable. The way I mean, everybody was there throwing. It's crazy. But at least you got the wrestle there. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it was a big thing. Like I didn't give a fuck if there was only 100 people there, and if like at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's like I got to take it off the list. It was fucking insane. It's amazing.
How's the Juggalo scene over there in the UK?
Pretty much non-existent. There's a few guys like, like you could go years without seeing someone wearing an ICP jersey or shirt. Years.
Really? Wow.
Really not. Yeah.
So if you spot a guy with it, you go up to him and talk to him?
Oh, 100. You have to, right?
Yeah, you got to, especially out there. Yeah.
Like that's the reason people wear shirts of like cool bands and shit, right? I would hope. Like
right.
You just have to hope you got to them and they haven't bought it from a thrift store, you know? Like sometimes you'll see like these guys come in and then they'll be like, they won't have a clue. It'll be like someone's granddad that just got the shirt in a Goodwill store.
Yeah, you know, the big trend here now in America is you got people, well, you know, punk rock, Ramones. I saw a girl somewhere walking around. You can buy Ramones shirts online from companies. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I said, do you like them? You know, I've seen them live. And she's like, huh? I'm like, that Ramones. She goes,
yeah.
I'm like, you don't know about them? She goes, no, I just got the shirt. I'm like, well,
no, you can't. You can't. I think that's one of the things that I hate as well. Like, you know, the punk band Guttermouth at the Warped Tour. It's kind of cuntish, but like they'd call people out if they had a band shirt and they were like, name 5 songs from that band right now and put them on the spot. And like, if you can't wear a shirt of a band and not know, like I couldn't do that personally.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that. You see people, they're wearing Iron Maiden shirts is the big one. Even celebrities are wearing them. Like, you don't listen to Metallica. Come on. And I call people out on, do you know about that band? No clue.
Yeah, it always makes me cringe.
I know. I saw someone wearing a Ronnie James Dio shirt. Oh. You know Dio, right? And I didn't even ask him. I'm like, this guy does not know Dio. He liked it because of the devil look. Yeah. Guns N' Roses. Remember
Hot Topics and all that.
Yeah.
That's sad. I seen one of the interviews you had a Zandig shirt on. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That come through really weird.
You broke up on us, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you hear what he said about the Zandig shirt?
Oh, yes. Right. Okay. What about it?
Oh, I said a few. I was watching some of the interviews you did before, and I seen you have a Zandig shirt on one of the interviews. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool shirt. I wonder where you got that from.
Oh yeah, I've got. Hit me up. I'll send you some top secret links.
Oh, awesome.
Okay,
that's a nice shirt. Yeah.
Now, did you ever meet Zandig?
No, I fucking wish. I would love to have met him.
Oh man, he had him at a signing. Look. So, which guys have you not met that you'd like to meet? Like, I mean, see, sometimes when CCW would have like a reunion thing where they bring in guys, even Wife Beater came a couple years ago.
I was so jealous that Drew Parker got to meet Wife Beater. Like Wife Beater would have been one of the ones, and Zandig for sure.
Wow. See, we'd run into these guys all the time. I mean, yeah, I can imagine. Did you see him?
Yeah, no. Like
Wife
sometimes
Beater-
now, what's a trip for me? Like sometimes, like when I do stuff now, like when I get to work Necro or meet Gage for the first time, it's kind of like hard not to mark out a little bit, because I grew up watching those from the age of like fucking 13 and shit. And the first time to see him is like, oh shit, like we're literally gonna punch each other in the face in 5 minutes.
That's surreal.
Yeah.
Danny, our buddy Danny Douglas flew from down there to see to meet Zandig. We brought him in for a signing, and he had.
Yeah, I know. That's fucking cool.
You know Danny?
Yeah, Danny Douglas is the fucking man. Like without him in British deathmatch, there wouldn't be a fucking deathmatch scene. Like he literally helps all the guys. Like such a fucking cool guy.
Oh, good. Shout out to that dude. Yeah, that's
Danny
cool.
Douglas. Yeah, shout out to Danny Douglas. He's the man.
There was two guys back in the man. It must have been about over 12 years ago. They would come from England, I think the London area, and they would come to IWA Mid-South King of the Deathmatch tournaments, and they came a few times. Two guys, and I lost track of them guys. Those are the only English guys I ever knew that would come out here.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, I don't know. But
you wrestled Cologne at one of the finals for the deathmatch, Rise, I believe, right?
Yeah.
How was that match?
Painful. Very painful.
Really?
Yeah, man. Fucking that was a hard one because like I tore my Achilles, so I was doing that like with a bad leg, and could barely walk anyway. And then we did like 3 rounds, and he just like I got cut to fuck in that match. I got a crazy elbow infection, and just and we'd stay out the night before. Like you take someone to a foreign country, you want to show them a good time, so we stay up to like 6 o'clock in the morning drinking the night before, and then I have to drive everyone there, which takes like 6 hours, and it's fucking long. Long. I just wish I wish that tournament had been seen by more people. It's not really been seen. That Rise are really shit at getting their content out, so hopefully that gets uploaded soon to IWTV or something, because that was I think a real good show. Like the UK Deathmatch, there was so much good stuff on there.
Oh, absolutely. That match alone was brutal. I remember watching it.
Yeah. Cologne. We remember Cologne when he was with the Four Locos. He wasn't even a hardcore wrestler. He just came out with Chrissy Rivera and those other guys. And then all of a sudden, he went nuts. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, quite a transformation, right?
Yeah. It's funny. He's a good guy too. Yeah, man. Okay, I was going to ask him about the fans. Now, the fans that we got here, what kind of we got girls here, and I've shown wrestling like that we watch to my friends, girls I know, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. They hate it. They can't believe I go to it. They don't even want to watch 1 minute of it. The girls here are a certain type of girl that likes death matches. You know what I mean? They're not regular girls. They're not your WWE girls. Is that the way it is in England? Is there like I see the videos, and you got like cute girls that are just into the death matches, huh?
I mean, I think the observation I've seen I would say, like a lot of the girls maybe that watch deathmatch wrestling tend to be like your sort of goth, alternative, punky sort of girls, maybe that are into like horror movies and shit, right?
Yeah.
Would that be a fair assessment? They would like have tattoos and band t-shirts and piercings, right? Yeah.
So it's the same type that like it here, like it over there.
Yeah.
It's that type of girl.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
But now if you watch Japan, you'll see people that are like you think you're at a professional opera. You see people with suits. They're not like they're not like the rowdy fans like we are, like getting in there, throwing chairs, jumping in, jumping around,
They want
yeah.
throwing sneakers around.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
I think it's the culture. Pondo told me that one time. The cultural difference, like.
Yeah, they're a lot more reserved in Japanese culture, aren't they?
Right.
A lot more
I said to them one time.
subservient.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying they're like a lot more. There's like not subservient, as in like there's more like social structures of, you know, how they do things. They're more polite and regulated.
Right. They would never say, you know, start yelling out profanities and things like that in the ring, and they run away. But one time Pondo said, I said, Pondo, when he was going to Big Japan, I said, there's these guys in the front row, and they got 3-piece suits on and ties. I said, what is up with that? He said, these are guys that are coming out of their business jobs, and they just come to the show right after work, and they're there in their uniform. I thought they were dressing up to go to the shows. So you would never go to New York City and walk down the Fifth Avenue and see people in suits that are ending up going to a deathmatch show.
No.
But
No,
in
it'd be
Japan,
fucking cool if you did though.
It would be.
no, that would be fucking cool. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
You know, there's going to be a fan that makes that their gimmick now. That's their gimmick. Like they're like the hot dog fan, or the, you know, that's their gimmick, the suit man.
I got it.
I mean, it would be funny though.
Most of the fans don't wear suits.
Yeah, most yeah.
Yeah.
In your years of wrestling, what's the craziest thing a fan has asked you to sign?
Craziest. Nothing too bad. I normally get things like, you know, like people asking if they can buy my fucking cummy pants and stuff. That's normally what I get. Yeah, like obviously I sell my ring. Yeah, like I sell my ring gear, like my deathmatch gear, right? Normally, well, not that it's normal, but it's normal in the realms of deathmatch, right? But then you do get a lot of like people slide into the inbox and like, do you sell your wrestling gear? And it's like, oh, like I haven't got any because I've not, you know, wrestled. And they'd be like, oh, well, would you just sell your pants? And then would you sell it like, you know? And they start like, yeah, it's weirdos.
Okay.
That's about as weird as I get.
Well, like the $1 Million Man says, everybody has a price.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not a proud man, but
No.
you get like, I mean, $20 is $20, right? But
No,
like,
hey, I know for a pair of underwear, yeah, you got a good gimmick because you just go buy a 6-pack in the Fruit of the. What kind of underwear is that?
100%. Like Fruit of the Looms, I get when I'm in America because they're nice and comfortable. Yeah, but it is a good gimmick because like when I fly to America and stuff, and obviously I like clear through customs and things like that. I don't, you know, it's not so much I have to worry about having wrestling gear. Fucking tighty whities. So it helps. It helps. Like I don't have to worry about the airport losing my suitcase because I just go to Walmart and buy a pair of tighty whities. It's fucking perfect.
Are they cheaper here than over there?
About the same, I think. About the same.
All right, we'll get you a good deal.
How'd you come up with the Big Joe attire?
They do cost more if they're stained and signed, by the way, though.
How did you come up with that look? You come out with the shirt and the tighty whities.
That was just through doing a Rise thing. Like I was brought in as a henchman for Darwin. I had like the suit trousers and stuff, so it just looked like corporate Kane, you know, like fucking or Stevie Richards, right to censor.
Okay.
And we were shooting a promo in London, and like as a shoot job, I work as a bouncer. So like in real fights, like the amount of times in real fights, like you will rip those suit trousers, you know, because that's what you have to wear as a doorman. You have to wear those like smart dress trousers, and they always rip. And I just said, wouldn't it be funny if I just push you around in tighty whities, like around London for this promo? And it just got so many looks and did so like well, like views wise. I just thought, fuck it, I'll stick with it. It's just so stupid and absurd. Like you'll always remember the fat cunt in tighty whities. Like no matter what happens, like doesn't matter. Can you remember him? Easy.
No, absolutely. Such a unique look. You know, like you said, it's definitely going to be something you remember.
Like I know, like even say 7 times out of 10, if someone hates the look, which is fine because it's fucking ridiculous, but at least they remember it. Like I'd rather be remembered than not. So,
right, no, he stands out. That's the thing about wrestling. It's a different look, and we're talking about it. So he's got it. If
Yeah.
he just was in here with a black T-shirt and parachute pants, we wouldn't be talking about it. So he's
generic deathmatch, like generic deathmatch attire is some jean shorts with maybe a band logo on, a fucking metal T-shirt that's black.
Yeah.
You know, some elbow pads and covered up. Like, at least if I'm doing death matches in tighty whities, like my legs are on display. Like, there's like, you know, I'm wearing white, so at least I'm getting the most out of like the bloods. Like, you'd be fuming wearing a black T-shirt and you're covered in blood, you can't even see it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No,
it just seems there's so many more upsides to it. You know, like I said, I don't lose my gear in airports. Relatively cheap to buy. You do well selling it. It's easy. Yeah.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that's crazy. And now, so you manage to sell it right after shows every time, just like that.
I have been done recently. Yeah, like I've been alright. Like deathmatch fans are so fucking like loyal, and you know it is such a niche thing, and they're just supportive. So like normally after a show, like someone will try like hit me. They'll either hit me up at the merch stand, ask like to buy the gear, or I'll just put it on my Instagram or whatever. It's cool because like God knows there's not a fucking enough money in doing deathmatch wrestling, like or indie wrestling, like compared to like a shoot job. Like I do okay in my shoot jobs, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like so selling that gear, it does fucking help. Like it's a good hustle for sure.
No, absolutely. Right. It's a piece of history, you know. It's a piece of history. I collect ring gear stuff.
Yeah, he collects ring gear. Well, I'm going to point out that I went to his website, bigjoe.com. I think he's got a lot of shirts. He's got a lot of shirts. But my favorite is that Japanese guy.
Oh yeah.
He's got one. Yeah. That guy. I don't know how he puts it together, but he is an artist. That guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's really good. I think someone should like compile all his artwork into a deathmatch book when he finally like gives it up, if he ever does. You know, I think that'd be a cool coffee table sort of book.
There should be posters. Yeah. Can you you know what, Joe? I would like to see that. That would be a great thing. Can you print out posters of that shirt and sell them as prints?
Yeah, probably. I'll look into it, man.
No, I think that would be good because people. There's a huge following of that guy, and I've got Brian Woods, Brain Damage, Woody. No, I mean I got Pondos. I almost can't help myself from buying those shirts because they're so cool.
Yeah, you know? I know some people like my friend Danny will like literally buy that shirt even if he doesn't really like that deathmatch guy, just because it's ours. Like you know, just has to collect them. It's a niche upon a niche, isn't it? Like that's what I like about deathmatch wrestling. Like.
I mean,
like,
he's got his
some
own...
of us are such nerds when it comes to deathmatch.
We are. But yeah, look at that poster because it's easy to bring them to America. No one's going to bother you, and they would sell. They would even sell, or even if you get them, you can get them sent to America to a friend here, somebody you know here, and you can bring it to a show.
Signatures will come out real nice.
Oh yeah, signatures will come out real nice. It's a nice print. I really like that.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. So what's your favorite match you had in XPW? You had some really good ones up to date. Like that match with Schlack with the coat hangers. That was crazy. That was ridiculous. I had to watch it like 3 times in a row. I had to rewind it, watch it. You and Masada, you and Necro went crazy. What's your favorite match you've done for them so far?
I think me and Schlack was fun because I fucking love Schlack. Like, fucking love it. He was awesome. But I think our match we had in England was better. We did one for Rise before. But that was fun because it was like a 20-minute just hack and slash, walk and talk, brawl. Like the Cali fans are fucking mad. So like I think someone tried to hit me with a chair or something in that. That was fun. But I'd probably say me versus Necro, even though it was only like 2 minutes long. I would say that was probably my favorite one from XPW because that's the one that people always talk about. Like, not that everyone's talking about it, but if they come and talk to me, normally that's what they bring up. And it's fucking my first time meeting Necro, and that's what I'm doing with him. So that was like fucking huge for me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Do the fans, when the American wrestlers come over there, how do the fans react to them? Like, do the fans act the same way to the Americans as the Americans react to you guys, like you? How is
Yeah,
there
I think that's a weird thing in like wrestling, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you can have like the best American wrestlers wrestle in your hometown, but then you get like some shit English guy come over and you like, yay, like you're nice because it's like what you don't have, and it's the same as like some of the wrestlers in England, like they might have the best wrestlers in the world, but then you'll get an American guy come over, and the English fans are like literally sucking his dick because like it's what you don't have is what you want, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's the same principle. I would guess, like, yeah, American guys, like you could be an American guy and just like by the MC saying like from America, like your casual fans going to turn their head a bit more than they would from like fucking John down the road, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we do that. I mean, we do that too. Even when at the arena where they'll bring some Japanese guy that I don't know the name because I can't even pronounce
Exactly.
And I'll automatically be like, he's got to be something because they brought him from Japan and he looks like he can wrestle. He's a wrestler, so I'm gonna pay attention to like this guy
100%.
must be somebody. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
interesting.
What about your time in ICW? You had a great match with Hoodfoot. And anything with them? Do you have anything coming up with ICW?
Yeah, they've got a tour in England. It's pretty much sold out. I think there might be like 6 or 7 tickets for some of the dates, maybe the Sunday show or whatever. So I've got that coming up. After that, who knows? You know, no idea. But I think that's going to be fucking mad. Like 3 days of shows, like with some insane matches. I think you've got Clint Margera versus Akira. You've got like Johnny Storm from obviously Best of the Best, CZW, working Akira, which is another fucking insane match. I've got Tremont again, which I'm looking forward to. So I'm sure I've got a receipt coming my way. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
You're on all 3 shows?
Yeah, I'll be there all weekend.
So
hopefully not on all 3, but I'm there.
The shows are in different cities, or I saw the schedule.
They're all in Leeds. They're all in one venue, I think. So.
Oh, really?
So it's pretty easy. Yeah. Leeds is a cool city. Like bars are open till like 6 a.m. Super cheap. It's good.
Leeds.
I'd love to see you wrestle like Christian Ross or Chris Bradley when you're back here. Them guys are tearing it up.
They're really fucking tearing it up. Look the part, you know, nice guys as well. Killing it.
Yeah, I was talking to Christian earlier, and I told him, man, I really when Big Joe comes back to ICW in the area, I'd love to see you and him go at it one time. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. We got. I want to tour him around some stuff. I gotta get him to the arena. I want to be the one that takes you to. We want to be the one that takes you to the arena, and then we're gonna drive you down to Smyrna and show you these places. You can see his collection of memorabilia, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah, let's make it. Next time I'm in the area, let's make it happen.
Yeah, and it's customary in America that the wrestler that comes from a foreign country has to buy us food.
That's okay. 7-Eleven it is then.
No, we got you covered. We'll get you some. We'll get them to Red Lobster or something. You ever heard of Red Lobster?
I can't do crustaceans. No seafood. No seafood.
All right, well, we'll get you. We got the good steakhouses here. We got the Outback Steakhouse, Texas Roadhouse, and Longhorn. You ever heard of those 3?
They all sound good to me.
Look all those up. We'll get that. We'll get you to one of those. Yeah, we got you covered. Don't worry about it. We're not. But yeah, man, that'd be good. Yeah, if you could just give us one day, it'd be good. But you have to fly in. You're always flying into Newark, so you're usually up in that area. But we'll work on it, man. It'd be fun. Get you to the arena.
CZW are running again this year as well, or next year. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I
saw something. I think they're going to do an underground,
ultraviolet underground.
Yeah,
ultraviolet underground with smaller.
I think that's the plan, yeah.
That would be cool.
So fingers crossed. That'd be one to tick off the list as well. So
I wanted to talk a little bit about Outlaw Mud Show. Our boy Joe Callis is the one who got us introduced. Are you a part of the group?
Yeah, I think I am. I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah, it's a good community, and I really like them because they share a lot of good deathmatch stuff, and it's all positive stuff. You see a lot of negative in the world, and I'm happy to be in a community where All positive, good positive stuff being shared.
Yeah, I don't get no heat.
No, no heat.
I watch what I say, man. I don't know. Oh no, it's the women. Now, I was amazed. Now I'm amazed because I grew up watching stuff that these women, the matches these women are having. I remember Lufisto and Mickey Knuckles and a couple of the other ones. It was very tame. Well, not Mickey, but and now I never thought I would have seen this many women doing death matches. What do you think of it? Did you ever think it would get to that point?
I think just while we're on women's death matches, XPW's women's death matches have been the best women's death matches I've ever seen. Been fucking insane. Mickey Knuckles has been fucking going so hard. Like she's like had a renaissance almost. Yeah, fucking females just now are killing it. They're killing it. So and then like worldwide as well. You got like fucking Rita Yamashita, and you got so much going on. You got the girls from Australia and Charlie Evans and Sawyer Rex tearing it up. It's good.
And it's crazy how long Mickey's been doing it.
Oh man, Mickey, she's been doing it 20 years.
Because Mickey was doing it back in the day where she would have to work with some absolute dog shit, like some girl that had one match and was just willing to bleed, and like she would have put in some real shit situations. But now, like all these girls all of them can fucking go. All of them have like different characters as well. They're not just like generic blonde girl versus generic. You know, they all have characters and. Most of them can cut promos. Yeah, I think girls are killing it at the minute.
Is that popular in England, the female death matchers?
Not really. There has been a women's tournament. But being honest, there was like you couldn't call it death match. Like there was like one death match in the whole tournament. You know what I mean? Like the others might be like a fucking kendo stick match or more like Extreme Rules than death match. There's girls that do death matches, like Session Moth does them from time to time. She goes hard. She's a fucking character and can do shit, but they are pretty rare.
No, she has such a unique character too. I was so disappointed when Session Moss got booked and then she didn't. You know, they took her off Tournament of Death. She would have killed it.
I mean, that worked out for me because the only spare seat on that plane was the one next to me, and I think that might have been her seat. So that worked out for me.
Wow. They were coming from
that was Tournament of Death 18, I believe, right, in New Jersey.
Yes, the worst Tournament of Death in history. And that was the worst TOD of all. That was probably, as a fan, the worst TOD of all time. Yeah, as a fan, and that sucks because I was in it.
Yeah, I like them all.
The thing I didn't like about that tournament is the finals. I think that was the only Tournament of Death finals that they left the ropes up. I believe, they just left the ropes up and they just left them in.
You know, people complain about. They'll say, that Tournament of Death wasn't good. Look, I've enjoyed every Tournament of Death. There's no.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying like. Like in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, there's no such thing in my eyes as bad pizza. There's always good pizza, right?
Right.
The same. It's like if you come, you come. It's always like it was good because you came, right? Regardless. Like TODs, but like if I was to rank them in order, that was, and the commentary from Jimmy Rave definitely did not help. It's really bad.
I didn't even see that. Most of the time, if I'm at a show, I don't really watch it. But no, the worst deathmatch tournament is still. I had a good time at it. Like a strip club or something. You know, I hated it.
You never have a great time.
Never bad. Session Moth. Yeah, I followed her. She was doing these crazy interviews. You know her personally?
She's cool. I don't know her personally. I've been out drinking after a show with her, and she's a cool girl. Cool.
Is she her character? Does she live that? Because on the show, I've seen her interviews when she was interviewing Dreamer. She's like that.
Yeah, but maybe a bit more dialed in. So over the top. But super cool girl, super talented. Just a real cool person. Like I can't say enough good things about her, really.
Yeah, no, I like her a lot because she goes hard. And I was at a WrestleMania and I went with my buddy Lee, and I was telling him about this session match. She's real cool. She's a character. You're gonna love her. You're gonna love her. And he's like, I don't know. I turned him on to her, and every time I would try to see her, meet her somewhere, she wouldn't be there. Whereas she left. And then one time I'm like, is this, where's Session Mod? She's, oh, she just left. I'm like, God. And then we go to some other show, and it was like, oh, because at a WrestleMania weekend, they have 50 shows at the same time. It's crazy. And we're like, well, I don't want to go to that show, but I do want to meet her. But it was so hard. I never met. 3 or 4 times I tried to meet her. I could never meet her. I tried to meet her because I saw her interviews. I got a kick out of her. I mean, someday. And then when she canceled the CZW tournament, I'm like, oh, God.
Who's going to be the second woman in Tournament of Death?
She's done like a deathmatch tournament I was in last year, TNT DOA, and she goes hard and she doesn't need to. Like, she does deathmatch when she does it because she loves deathmatch. She doesn't need to get any more clout because her social media and she does well. Like, she doesn't need to do deathmatch. So when she does it, like, hats off to her. She fucking loves it.
Huh. Absolutely, she's good. Like you said, she doesn't need to do all that crazy stuff.
No, but she likes it. She likes to do it. These guys love to do it. They love to do it.
Kind of like Maria Manic.
Yeah, Maria. Or Casey Catal.
Casey Catal's another good one.
Oh, yeah, she loves to do it.
Any advice you would give to someone breaking into the business that wants to do deathmatch wrestling?
Just train. Like, find the best wrestling skill you can. Train. Keep your mouth shut and your ears open. Maybe don't fucking go on about the deathmatch stuff straight away. Earn your stripes until you build that rapport with your trainer that you're like, your trainer becomes more of a friend than a trainer. Because like fucking, there's nothing worse than like people like hit you up and like, I want to do deathmatch. Like, I've got a high tolerance of pain. It's like, that's not even what it's about. It's not even what it's about. Like, you can stab your fucking hand with like a fucking light tube and it look, like, if I wanted to go watch gore porn, I'd go on like fucking some dark website or some shit. Like, learn to wrestle properly first. That would be my advice. Just please find a good training school.
Good. Oh yeah, you got to know it. You got to know it. You can't just go out there and just do it. It seems like these guys are coming nowhere. Some of these deathmatch guys that I didn't hear about them. They skyrocket within a couple months, like Hoodfoot. I never knew anything about him, and he's on major shows. A lot of these guys, they're really stepping up. I mean, I guess you're as good as, if you do it, you do it. You're good. So you got shirts. So yeah, I recommend any fans out there that are watching this. He's got a great collection of shirts, and he's
and ring used gear. You have any questions for us?
I'm pretty stoned, to be fair. I just hope this interview wasn't too bad for you guys.
No, it was great.
No, you were cool. You were cool. You satisfied with it? It's good. What I was thinking.
Chairs. You said you had chairs.
Yeah, chairs.
The chairs. The custom chairs.
Oh, you do custom? You have custom chairs?
No, not me. I think that's Darko's side hustle. He's got like a custom chair painting freak or something. I think that's his gimmick.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He's from around there, right?
Yeah. I think he still does it. I've got no discernible skills. That's why I bleed in my pants and then smoke weed at my nighttime job. So I'm not really an artist.
Are most of your matches in the London area, or do you go all over to England?
They're all pretty much up north, like Leeds, Liverpool. There's not really. I've never done a death match in London. I want to, but it's just
really?
The sort of promotion. Yeah, the sort of promotions that run in London are a bit more, like the Progress type promotions.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a fit for them sort of promotions. So hopefully one day I'll get a death match in London. It'd be cool.
Now, do you guys, when you go, like in America, a lot, like I know like Necro and these guys, they go to different shows in different parts of the city, and they have like a little crew of people that like bond to them and help them out when they're at a show. And, hey, everybody's got like, a lot of wrestlers here have friends in different, like a little clique in every little city. You know what I mean? Like we're Necro's clique. Is that like it is where if you go to a certain place, you kind of befriended some of the fans that are cool and not, weird,
Yeah, not so much because like England's geographically so small. Like you could probably, from one end of England to the other in 12 hours if there was bad traffic, or it's possible, right? Whereas America's a lot more spread out. But like you do get the cool fans that will go to they'll go to the Rai shows, but then they'll go to the Kumite shows and they'll go to the TNT, like all the deathmatch-esque shows, right? And you'll like smoke a joint with them in the car park and stuff. You do get that, but it's not like in America a fan like if I go to say Chicago, someone will hit me up and be like, "Oh, I'll pick you up and we'll go do this," and it's not like that side of things.
Okay. You like that? That's cool. Is it cool having like a little like befriending certain people in different parts of the country?
What, in the States?
Yeah, in America. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking cool as because like we're all like deathmatch fans, are all into the same shit, so it's cool. Like, and like cool. They don't have to go out of their way to like help me and be nice to me and like show me about and smoke a joint with me and stuff. It's cool. Yeah, it's like just making new friends all over the world. It's fucking
that's true.
And getting paid to do it as well. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's true. I've noticed that deathmatch guys are always friendly with fans, and that was like that with CZW, IWA, Drake Younger. They're just. It's like almost like a bond. Like
yeah. I think with deathmatch, the guys that are doing it clearly fucking love deathmatch because like very little pay, self-mutilation. Your fucking girlfriends or wives are gonna hate it. There's very little return. So like if you do a deathmatch, you really fucking love it. And I think the fans that love deathmatch really fucking love it too. So there's that sort of connection of like respect that goes both ways, hopefully. And I think that's why the deathmatch community is probably like the best community in wrestling by far. The most supportive, 100%.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Joe. So what's your favorite place you wrestled in?
Have to be the Gathering of the Juggalos, right?
Oh yeah, man, that Gathering. What bands do you like there? What's your favorite type of bands? Like, I know you like ICP, but what other bands you like? Because I like a lot of punk rock and hip hop and everything like that. You like Cottonmouth Kings? You like that band?
Cottonmouth Kings. I haven't listened to too much Cottonmouth Kings, to be honest. They were more of like an American thing. They didn't really cross over here. Like obviously listen to stuff like Cypress Hill, stuff like that, and there was like other because Cottonmouth Kings were on Suburban Noise Records at one point, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think which the band OPM were on. Heaven Is a Half Pipe, that band, but they had like sort of similar sort of vibe to them. Yeah, OPM. Yeah. But bands I listen to at the minute probably like anything from like NoFX. I just listened to their new album that came out I think 2 days ago. Okay. Obviously stuff like ICP, band like ska punk, like Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish, Magwagon, shit like that, like Fat Records type bands, and I think everything's got a time and a place. Like I don't want to wake up and listen to Scandinavian death metal at 7 o'clock in the morning. But I think I like so much shit, like fucking weird, like stuff like Mr. Traumatic, like drum and bass type shit, to punk rock, to like Wu-Tang Clan shit. Everything's got a time and a place, just not anything too like super poppy, if that makes sense.
Okay, I got you. No Spice Girls.
No Spice Girls.
No Spice Girls, unless I was a 10-year-old boy at a teen disco.
Well, that was a standard question.
Yeah, standard.
The standard question was the referral to Dave Schultz when John Stossel says, "Well, I'll ask you the standard question." You ever saw that video?
Big slap. Yeah, big fucking slap.
That's why I said standard question. That's what we had. Gathering Juggalos. I'll tell you, that was. I need to go again next year. I think it's going to be. We'll be there. I'd like to go again.
Yeah, I think that'll end within like 2 years maybe. So I'm desperate to try to get to another one if like schedules and shit permits. Like I really need to go back.
Right. So coming back. All right, well, what else we got now? I was going to ask something. Yeah. When you come to America, you can tell that every part of the country has a different accent, right? Can you
Yeah, a
tell
little
that?
bit.
That
Yeah, sometimes.
in England, is there different accents all over? Because you sound a little different from other English speaking people. You know, England people from England. I've noticed there's always
like over here. So my equivalent of my accent is like they call it like farmer, like Norfolk accent, and then you have like Scousers. There's different regionalities of accents, the same as there is in America for sure. I'm kind of the equivalent of a redneck accent, if that makes sense.
Really?
Okay. Oh wow.
See, I wouldn't know that.
I would guess so. I would guess so. Yeah.
Look, can you tell the your redneck accent down here when you come to America?
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. I love the redneck accent.
Just out of curiosity, what do we sound like? Just generic, regular, or
Rednecks.
No, kind of just like that sort of Philadelphia, New Jersey type area. Nothing too strong either way. It's not
right.
You don't
Right.
sound like it. You're not You're not like either end of the spectrum, you know.
Right, we're in the middle. Because I've noticed I've seen some people in England and they talk like a real strong accent, like rustling.
Fucking YI, man. Fucking YI. Fucking get it.
Yeah. What's up with that? What's that?
Geordie, I think.
Geordie.
I'm trying. I'm not good at accents. Yeah. Fucking YI, man. Fucking YI.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of weird accents in England.
I'm always amazed with that stuff.
That's why no English guys can really cut promos, because we all grew up watching American promos and we've got all these shitty English accents, so we can't do it. We try to copy the Americans and we always get caught in that trap, and then when we do a promo and it's in English, it doesn't sound right. That's why you don't see many good English promos.
Well, do your best American accent.
Oh, I can't even try. I'm not even gonna try that.
Really?
I'm not that stoned.
Huh?
It's not that stoned.
Oh, I'm just because people here like to try to speak in English accents, like I don't want
fish and chips, cup of tea. The life of the wife was ended by the knife, like stuff like that. Yeah.
No, you're still English. We can still tell. It's in you. I like the band. You listen to the band Garbage from
I know of the band Garbage. They were like during sort of Britpop,
I think
like Oasis, Blur, that sort of era.
Yeah. When it's funny when English people sing, they sing and you can't tell they have an accent. But the minute they start talking, they have a big accent. But that's good. Well, I don't know. We've beaten this to death. Hopefully, we'll see you and we'll tour you around, man. I really like to do that. We
that'd be cool, man.
Yeah, we would love to show you some CZW stuff, man. We're history. You know, me and Mike love the history of CZW. Have you here, have you hang out, show you around.
Mm-hmm.
No worries. That sounds cool, man.
And before we end this, once again, I want to thank Joe Callis from Outlaw Macho Wrestling. Join the group if you're not on there. Big Joe, thank you. Thanks again so much for being here with us tonight.
No, thank you guys.
And your schedule is you're coming in next month?
Yeah, January 21st, XPW, Newark, New Jersey, the new Indie Wars.
I like it. And then where else?
England. I've got Rise in a few weeks. Yeah, Rise and shit in a few weeks.
No, but in Cleveland, you have something in Cleveland, Ohio?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, I thought you said Cleveland. Oh, I didn't know what you said. I didn't understand it.
Oh no, lost in translation.
Okay, no problem.
Man, fucking lost in translation, pal.
Lost in translation.
So thank you. Anyone watching this, if you want to buy a shirt, we can hit you up on Instagram, right? Instagram, buy his ring worn stuff, bloody stuff. Instagram, he's got it all for sale. Bill, once again, thank you.
No worries. Thanks again.